Sorry, I'm running the stream again, so I get to pick the music.
Yeah.
So
What's up?
we're back. I'll go do the introduction since I'm running the stream, and
Your
Kale
lead.
Arctic is reporting to us from a beachfront property in Miami.
Hey, I'm actually not in Miami. Get things straight here.
I'm a little bit disappointed you didn't do like the stereotypical like shot from the balcony where like just the ocean and the breeze in the distance.
I did.
Although it'd be a little bit dark.
I did.
Oh, that's it right behind you?
No, no. Oh, you're talking about. I posted one on picture on Twitter.
No, you gotta do the live feed from
Oh,
the
I can't do the live feed.
balcony
It's
with
too
the
dark.
beach behind you.
It's too dark.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to join us from your vacation, considering that last week I had to rough it out. None of the viewers helped bail me out.
It seemed like it was a good time.
Still a little bit salty. A little bit salty.
It seemed like it was a good time.
Yeah, it's fun. Just sipping whiskey,
Oh, you know what?
talking games.
games.
Hey, you forgot.
Yeah. So, what's up? How you been doing the last 2 weeks?
Not too much. Just been doing the usual. And the show
Work,
last week. What have you been doing
game.
the last 2 weeks?
I've been traveling the world. I've been on.
Traveling the
I was on the
world.
West Coast, and now I'm traveling the world. That's right. It's on the West Coast, and now I'm on the East Coast, coast to coast. Traveled probably 2,000 plus 2,100 plus miles, something like that.
Did you go right from Seattle to Florida?
No, it was Texas to Seattle, then back to Texas, and then we were in Austin for basically a day, 2 days, and then left out of Austin. Now I'm in Florida, and I drove the Christy and I we split the time. It was 12 hours. We're in Destin, Florida, which is like an island on Florida.
Is that like Panhandle,
Literally.
or is that like...
It's on the Panhandle, but it's basically like an island. There's a little bay that I didn't know about in Florida, and so as you're traveling along, there's Tallahassee, Panama City, and then Pensacola's before us, but then Destin sits right along this little island. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
These two long, huge bridges connected.
All of this for the disclaimer that Kale is in a remote location using very awful hotel internet, so this could go south pretty quickly, possibly.
Everything looks fuzzy on Collins, and I don't even know what I look like. I probably look like shit. Pixelated.
Actually, looks
pixelated.
all right. Looks all right.
All right.
So, do you want to... last week I couldn't really talk about PAX because I wasn't there, and there wasn't really that many news stories. It's more of like a game demo event versus a news event. So, do you want to go ahead and regale us of your tales from the Penny Arcade Expo?
Yeah, so PAX was fun. Was it two weekends ago? Yeah, 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
A little over a week in total, because it ended on a Monday, so it was a 4-day event, and I was there on Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, basically to set up for loadout, which we had a pretty good show. Gave out all of our beta keys, got a little bit of press, so yeah, it was a good show for us. Game wise, pretty much everybody was there that I expected to be there. Obviously, EA brought Battlefield and Titanfall, but some of their other games. There was no Division, so you guys won't hear anything about that. Didn't see anything or hear anything about Destiny. And if there wasn't anything there, I must have looked. Yeah, I was really surprised about Destiny, more so than Division, because Division is like a year out, a little bit more than a year out.
Really announced anything yet, right? Release?
No, they just showed that companion trailer or whatever that we talked about, and that's pretty much it. But Destiny is like basically next summer, probably.
Yeah, it sounds like all the reports are putting it next year.
yeah, considering Titanfall is kind of like falling in the same window, so I expected those two to kind of be like the juggernauts of the show, but it turned out like I'd say Titanfall very easily had the longest lines. Just from the start of the show at 9 a.m. when press was in, everyone was at Titanfall to the end of the show. There was probably like 2 hour long wait lines about that time. But the whole Microsoft booth was really buzzing. I will say PlayStation's booth was also packed. There were some lines for Knack, and there were lines for Killzone. And I'm trying to think if there's any other lines that I really saw there. Not really. Everything else I could just pretty much. No, I walked up and played Drive Club. Literally, I think I waited 2 minutes, however long it was, for the guy in front of me to finish the lap. I was out and playing that.
Huh.
So, I mean, line-wise, that wasn't bad. Assassin's Creed had a really long line in there. But you know what, that booth, Ubisoft booth, they were also doing like a, wasn't a playable demo, but it was a demo of Watch Dogs. Okay. And that line was really, really long. I'm trying to think. NVIDIA didn't really show off anything. They had the Shield there, Twitch, trying to remember some other stuff, Extraction, WildStar. Oh, Warner Brothers had a nice sized booth. They had their Infinite Crisis thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were some other games that they were showing off there. Batman. What is it called? Batman Origins? What the hell that game is called?
Origins,
the new Batman game.
I think that's right.
Yeah, Arkham Origins?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, there were people that, I didn't go and play that, but people that played it that I talked to were like, I'm kind of unimpressed.
Was it multiplayer they were showing, or the campaign?
I believe it was campaign.
Okay. They're doing some pretty interesting stuff in multiplayer from what I've heard, so I'm kind of curious.
That'll be, I don't know. I just got Arkham City. I just bought that on PC. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But I want to play that because I've only heard good things about it. So I'm interested to see how they change up the formula, what kind of went astray, if people are like, no, I don't really like this.
Yeah, the multiplayer is actually
Killer Instinct.
Completely asymmetrical. They're doing like 3v3v2.
What?
Yeah. With like you come in as the Joker as like a boss kind of thing.
That's weird.
Could be cool.
Forza 5. I got the list there. Extraction, Foul Play, Toy Rush, which is indie. Foul Play is also indie. Strife, which is a MOBA. I don't know the name of the dev studio
that's
that is
from
creating.
S2, the creators of Han, Heroes of Newerth.
Okay. So yeah, I tried that out. Also played around with the Oculus Rift time. Interesting experience, to say the least. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is just kind of walked around. And I know there was a lot more games that people wanted me to try out, but I mean, I couldn't do Destiny, wasn't there. I couldn't do Division, that wasn't there. And other stuff like Thief wasn't playable. That was a demo that you could watch only. And I believe the lead designer gave he was like a French dude or something like that. He gave a verbal, basically speech walkthrough of what was happening. So talk about Titanfall. Day one, I get there Friday. I actually have the tweet. It was a picture. I was the first person in line to play Titanfall on when the show opened. So before the press got there, I literally we got our booth set, and I walked over and I was the first person in line. And basically, they let us play as soon as media started. Now, the funny thing about that is there were so many devs trying to go play Titanfall that they actually decided. Respawn was like, "Hey guys, if you have a dev pass," and this must have happened like maybe at 9:30 or something like this the first day. They were like, "I'm sorry, you guys can't play," and they turned away devs that were there that lined up early because press couldn't get to play because so many people walked over to their booth to go play it. That's how crazy it was, and that's what hype. Like, I just try to put this in perspective. There's all these other games. There are all these next-gen games. Everyone's at the fucking Titanfall booth trying to play that shit. It was ridiculous. But they actually turned everyone away, and then the next day, so Saturday, they had something called Fight Club or whatever they called it, where after the show closed, they actually stayed open another like hour or so so that all of the devs that didn't get to play earlier could sit around and play. So I did both of those. I played in the beginning on that day, and I waited in a couple lines to play very early, and then at the end of each day I played. So I got all of my fill's worth of Titanfall. And after playing it, I was telling Colin, the hype obviously for me is kind of settled. The game is awesome. I'm not going to take anything away from the game. It's really hard to kind of speak on a demo and say some of these things won't change or whatever. But I'm not like on cloud 9 on the game. Mostly because I think that a lot of initial perception on the game was like, hey, this is like Call of Duty meets Battlefield meets whatever other game you want to throw in there, be it Quake or Unreal or whatever, because of the movement or tribes or something like that. And for the most part, I was telling Colin, I mean, it just feels like Call of Duty for the most part. When you're in engagements, and hold on, let me preface this by saying that is not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. Control-wise, gun gameplay is where it feels very much Call of Duty-esque. And whenever I was in a one-on-one engagement, by the way, I promised, I made that tweet, I made a promise that I was going to whoop everybody's ass when I played, and I whooped everybody's ass. There was one game, it was the third game, top of the scoreboard for our team. We lost that game, though, and I'm going to get into why that was kind of like an issue here in a bit, but that was the only game we lost. Every other game, just mopped the floor with people. It was pretty ridiculous.
You probably played the game more than anyone at PAX, too. I mean, you went up there, what, 6 times,
partly
right?
because, part of that is because the people that we were playing I was playing devs, and my personal opinion of most devs in the industry is they make games, but they absolutely suck at playing them. So yeah, that was a romp-a-stomp. And then a mix of media. I mean, the first day when I got to play media, I wanted to make sure whoever was playing the game, like, I just tore them up. And that was my very first time playing. It was ridiculous. And so that was really fun. It was fun doing that, but I feel like there's a couple things where I'm kind of disappointed with how it currently plays. And I'm sure they're probably going to tweak things because the game is still like 8 months out. But for me, I think the biggest thing in terms of infantry play was I didn't like how the health kind of felt. It seems like it's on the low side, more like if I see you first, you're going to die. And I feel like that kind of takes away from the movement aspect of the game, which is one of the things that we were kind of really hype on in the beginning. It's like, hey, there's this opportunity for this game to kind of play into some of the old school shooters, but at the same time, and maybe that's not fair because some of the old school shooters, even with the mobility, they were really lethal. But I think it's the fact that everything is like full auto, Call of Duty military tactical style shooter instead of like, the crazy new weapons or unrealistic weapons or like futuristic weapons. It just felt like more of the same, which I've already played from a gun gameplay standpoint when I'm playing as infantry. So for me, that kind of took away from the whole mobility thing and maybe that skill gap. Now, where it kind of plays into maybe grand scheme of how things will work out is the potential to learn a map. Because I think positional awareness is probably where this is going to separate itself from, say, Call of Duty or, in some cases, a Battlefield, which I think the vertical aspect of a player sitting up on a building that's 5 stories up is more Battlefield than Call of Duty. I think that kind of plays into Titanfall more so than Call of Duty. So that aspect of the game, I think I'm probably going to like. And there was a story I shared with Colin. I think Gandhi told me that he was watching Mr. X play. And for those of you guys that know Mr. X, he was like he played Rainbow Six, but he's been around a long time.
He's a Call of Duty pro coach.
Call of Duty pro coach. Yeah, he's played Rainbow Six, won national championships in that. Played Call of Duty, didn't quite do as well as he'd hoped, but I mean, he's still a phenomenal player, hands down one of the best players I know personally at playing multiple games. And Gandhi ended up telling me a story where he said, like, Mr. X was on a building, ripped some dude's head off or stabbed him in the back, hopped to another building, double jumped off of this, killed another guy, did this really crazy thing, killed another dude, hopped on a Titan, ripped the Titan off, blew up the Titan, hopped on, and it's just crazy, like the stories that you hear from people about this game, and that's totally possible based on how the movement is. But I feel like just the one-on-one engagements aren't as, okay, I see you, I'm going to outmaneuver you and then kill you. It's more like, I see you, boom, you're dead. And that's kind of how it felt. And that was the disappointing part.
Was it often that you saw people while you were playing, like, kind of doing the crazy maneuvering stuff? I mean, you're playing, again, with game media people and devs on a game that they've never played before with vertical gameplay. From all the gameplay videos that I saw, it was people just, like, walking around on the ground like it was Call of Duty.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things that I think people probably don't realize of what you see. So they talked about the popcorn AI a lot. And so as you're looking up on the radar, these little orange blips that are popping up. And the orange blips, I think those are shots being fired or just movement. But those are actually bots. So the orange blips are bots, and then the red blips are players. And so I don't know how many people immediately put two and two together their first time playing. I immediately noticed, like, okay, what does this orange mean? Okay, that looked like a bot. What does this red mean? Okay, that's a player icon. His name is over his head. That's a player. I figured that in the first 30 seconds. So I think people probably couldn't really tell the difference at first. I don't know how many people kind of walk back over and over again like I did, but that was probably something that I think most players wouldn't notice. Therefore, like if you're just walking towards where you see blips, then you're probably out of the action. There's also the fact that it's TDM and it's score-based. It's attrition is the game type we played. So you could be sitting in a building the whole entire game, not really explore anything, and you'll see like little orange blips, and maybe you'll move to another window and like, oh, I killed a guy, and you see your points tick up. Yes, I'm doing something for my team. Walk back to the other window, kill a guy. So that kind of took away from it. I will say that I feel like if it wasn't TDM and the action was really focused, people probably would have gotten slaughtered worse.
Do you know if the popcorn AI actually counted against you kill-wise? I doubt it did.
I told you, like, I never ran into a situation where I felt like the popcorn AI was shooting back at me. Every time I saw them, they ran into this, like, military pose action thing where they're like, oh, and then they kind of just sit there and stare at you, and they don't shoot, and then you kill them. And I was like,
do you think their deaths counted against you as a ticket?
Their deaths counted against you as a ticket? Well, it doesn't. It goes up. It doesn't go down.
Okay.
Score goes up.
Did the score go up when you killed popcorn?
Yeah. So points go up. It's like less than I want to say it's like 25 points. I'm just throwing this out there. 25 points or something. That's team score. Objective? That actually goes to your team objective.
What?
Yeah.
That's really dumb.
Yeah. So that's some people are going to be pissed about that. I think just naturally, that's just by the nature of the game. I mean, that sounds like kind of shitty, but I mean, what you going to do? I don't know what else to kind of really say about it, but the bots, they're bots. And they're not very good bots at that. Maybe they were put on a very easy difficulty or whatever, but they were pretty bad bots. But in terms of action, and all the games I played, I mean, there was the first game I played, which is one I remember the most. I mean, I just killed everything, so I really couldn't tell if people were focused on where the action was or if they weren't. I couldn't really tell how the spawn systems worked, even though I played a whole lot. Because there was no central point of focus, people's attention wasn't like put on something. So I really see like objective if there's like a conquest or a domination or oddball or capture the flag or whatever, you're going to see these clear lines of where people are coming from and where people are going. And I think that'll help the flow of the game a lot better than what I played with the attrition or whatever. So I'm trying to think. There was 3 classes. There was an assault class, which is the one I played. I did the best with the assault class, just like a standard assault rifle. I can't remember what the secondary was. I want to say it was a pistol for each one, maybe a magnum for one character. There was a close quarter combat character that had a shotgun and some secondary, and then there was another player that I think had like an SMG style, like short range assault rifle style gun. And I don't remember what the secondary was on that. And each of those characters also had an anti-Titan weapon, which was like a, for example, the 2 I remember For whatever reason, I can't remember the SMG character. I just remember shooting the gun a couple times. But I want to say the assault guy had a 3-round rocket-style Sidewinder missile for that you want to fire at Titans. The tactical, or I'm sorry, the guy had like an RPG-style one huge rocket, and again, I can't remember what the third one had in terms of the classes. And none of the anti-Titan weapons felt very like they were strong. Even the close quarter combat one with the huge missile, I didn't really feel like I was doing a lot of damage to Titans when I tried to shoot them with that missile. And that's maybe the feedback there wasn't clear. Maybe they had their shield up. Maybe I mean, I just couldn't tell. I know the Sidewinder one was definitely it felt kind of gimpy, and maybe that's just based on the class that you kind of build. And I don't know if they're going to have custom classes. You're going to be able to swap pieces and parts out. But the whole UI kind of reminded me of a futuristic Call of Duty. Like if Call of Duty was in the year 2300, that's what I felt like Titanfall is, like what they were trying to present, the gameplay and all that stuff from an infantry standpoint. Movement-wise, everything feels super smooth. Probably some of the best movement I've ever played with in that type of game. It felt very Mirror's Edge-ish. So like I was telling Colin before the show started, if I saw something and I felt like I could get on top of it, and if I just could pretty much piece together a pathway, I could get to wherever I was looking. So there was like a grappling system. It really feels like Mirror's Edge. It really does. In terms of, I see this wall, I'm going to run off of this wall, do a jump, double jump, and then I'm on this other wall that I see that above me. And I mean, people were doing that. Some of the people from Respawn, you see them playing, you'd be like, oh, wow. One of the cool things that I picked up on was that the movement system, if you don't touch the ground, so if you just keep moving in succession, you actually pick up speed and you pick up distance travel. And I don't know if that, like you were saying, I don't know if it's momentum based, so if I completely change directions, if that's going to slow me down or anything like that. I'm not sure. It's not something I tested. I just tested like how long can I stay up in the air, and I got pretty far without really learning the maps.
Did it seem like it was
so that was what's that?
Did it seem like it was capping at all? Like hitting a cap?
For the speed, I really have to get into a very long map because it was kind of a tighter map. So at least I felt like it was. It might have been bigger than the actual field, but in terms of if I was in a building in a sequence where I could hop through a couple places, it felt like I picked up a lot of speed, but it didn't feel like it was capped yet at the point when I had to stop.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all I got on the infantry stuff. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I don't remember throwing grenades. Oh, you know what I missed is the special ability. I only remember using it on one character. Maybe they were set all the same because I felt like I switched between Assault and then the CQC guy. And they were both camouflage. So I believe you hit your left bumper and then you get like some active ability, and my player would go invisible, or like you see a silhouette and kind of be like in Predator mode. And it was like I don't know if that's special ability or whatever it was, but that's something else that they have in there. Titan gameplay feels very Hawken-ish. Colin, did you play Hawken?
Yes.
Okay. It feels very Hawken-ish. Mechs are fast, which is good. It's not, you don't feel like you're really slow or kind of bulky or whatever. There were 3 different types of Titans that you could choose from, Titans for me is very blurry. I spent a lot of time with the infantry stuff, but with the Titans, one of the abilities is to hold the bullets, which I think they've shown a couple times. So that's a special ability for the Titan. Another one was to shoot an extra missile. I think the third was to shoot like some electrical smoke in case you wanted to kind of hide or something like that, put up a smoke screen, or get a player that has jumped on you off your back. So that was probably three things I remember from each one that kind of separated them. I know one had an assault rifle as a weapon. One of them had all missiles, and I can't remember the third. I keep not remembering the third. So those were pretty much all I really remember about the Titans. When I was in the Titan, it felt like God mode, unless you were outmanned by multiple Titans, or if someone jumped on your back and kind of blew up your Titan that way. One cool thing about, like, if your Titan explodes, and this is something that I saw this guy in front of me doing, so I decided to do it the next game. But he would kill a Titan, then as his is about to explode, he would eject. And then if another Titan killed him, he would eject really high up in the air and then kind of like hover over the other Titan. And then it kind of like automatically grapples you onto the back of it. So every time he would call in a Titan, as his Titan is exploding to or dying to another Titan, he would eject and then hop on the other Titan and explode it. So, I mean, it was really awesome to see him doing it. But that's one thing I kind of picked on, something that you could do. So you eject it, you hop out, and then if there's another Titan, you can kind of grapple on and kill it. I'm trying to think what else I kind of did in the Titans. I mean, that's pretty much it. You can melee people on the ground. There's two different animations. There's one where you can just step on people and kill them, which happened to me a whole lot because I was trying to figure out the range at which I could double jump onto the back of a Titan. But if you get hit by any of the legs, it's like insta-crushed. There's also an animation that they have in there where you can punch someone and they like explode into bloody guts with the mech.
Did you see lots of people shooting Titans with machine guns?
Most of the time, people take out their anti-Titan. I mean, for the people that I watched, day one, I didn't really sit down and stare at people playing. Day two, I did, and then when we were in the Fight Club, I kind of watched what some of the other devs were doing. And a couple guys trying to shoot at Titans. Most of them, by that point, figured out that they could take out their anti-Titan. That's literally what it's called, anti-Titan weapon, and then they would fire those. So I mean, that's pretty much it on the Titan stuff. I'm trying to remember little idiosyncrasies that I kind of might be overlooking. One of the games that I lost, I was going to talk about this. One of the games that I lost, we lost by like 15 ticks. The other team literally called Titans nonstop, and it was so frustrating to play against a team of all Titans. I felt like every time I spawned, I was looking at 3 Titans from the other team, and that was really aggravating. Even when I would try to get up above them, it just felt like they just spray you and then you die. That was the only disappointing thing I think I felt from that whole thing was, like, if there's too many Titans, then the gameplay kind of got. What's Arctic's verdict on the controller? Yeah, I'll give you guys my thoughts on that here in a second.
Titanfall was actually on the 360 controller.
Yeah, it was on the 360 controller. Played PC with 360 controller. Goodie for them, because if it was on that Xbox One controller, I would probably be raging right now at the game. So what's my verdict on Titanfall? I think it'll be very good, and here's where I think that we just need something new. All right, I think everyone that has probably followed our team and known, just Colin and I talk about Battlefield, we really love Battlefield. Like, we genuinely love Battlefield. The only thing that took us away from Battlefield, Colin, you probably agree with this, is Gears. That is the only thing that took us away from that game. The reason why we're not playing it right now. Titanfall was right next to Battlefield, literally right next to each other, and there was lines for Battlefield, but I mean, honestly, the hype there was for Titanfall. But the very first day, and I didn't even need to play Battlefield more than 10 minutes to know I would enjoy it, but the very first day I played Titanfall, and then I immediately walked over and played Battlefield, and I was just like, man, this game feels fucking terrible. and it just wasn't like, it's not knocking Battlefield. It's just like Titanfall feels a lot better, a lot smoother. And then when I go on Battlefield, it's like, man, it feels slow. It feels clunky. It feels like I've already played this game, right? And I think that's why people are so hype about Titanfall right now. It's because it's new. And that's the only conclusion I could have for not sitting down and enjoying killing people in Battlefield. Because I sat down, I played for pretty much, I had free play, as a matter of fact. I played before people even lined up, so I got to sit there, run around this huge-ass map. Then when people filled in, I killed a bunch of people. Then I was like, man, I think I might be getting tired of this game. And it's just one of those things. Like, I don't know what else could explain it other than saying that I think if you play Titanfall or if you play any game that is new, there's not the same iteration of the exact same piece of shit. People are going to be like, Titanfall feels better. And that's just, I mean, Battlefield's probably going to be an amazing game. But after playing that and then playing Battlefield, it just felt like the same old thing. It felt like Battlefield 3.5. So, Battlefield is going to be awesome, guys. It's going to be great. If you love Battlefield, you'll probably love Battlefield. If you love Call of Duty, you'll probably love Call of Duty. But if you play a new game and you come back to that, you're going to be like, fuck. Have I really been playing this? They haven't changed anything? Anything about this? Nothing? Man.
Going into the next-gen stuff, like, that's an expectation too, right?
Right. I mean, that's people like, I don't want you to change it. Right. It's just like Call of Duty for me right now. It's just like, I love Battlefield. I absolutely love Battlefield, but I just could not. That is forever staying like in my head. That will not go away. Went from one game right over to Battlefield, and I was like, man, this feels like the exact same game. And then I should also mention that the other thing with this that made my experience even worse on Battlefield is I was playing with the fucking Xbox One controller. I don't sound very happy about that. So everything about the Xbox One controller is good up until you get to the analogs. They shrunk them. They're smaller. They're for little baby hands. I don't get it. Like the analogs on the 360 controller, the 360 controller is near perfect, minus the slow turn and occasional sticky buttons. There was nothing wrong with that controller.
And the cheap.
Absolutely nothing wrong. Is it cheap?
Yes.
I mean, this one isn't going to be that much better. It's going to be priced the same, probably.
Some using parts.
Xbox controller. I played a bunch of PS4 games. The PS4 controller feels like shit. I mean, again, it's the analog sticks on it are super tiny. Like it feels like this, like women hands or little babies, or I just wasn't into it at all.
Maybe your hands are just growing.
Maybe no, my hands have stayed the same.
Maybe they're just growing, Kale.
No, my hands have stayed the same, dude.
Maybe becoming a PC gamer has made your hands grow.
I know your hands. I know your hands. When you hold an Xbox One controller and you play a shooter and use those analog sticks, you're going to be like, what the hell have they done? I'm telling you.
I don't know.
I don't even want to play Battlefield on the Xbox One.
My hands are the same size. I don't know.
I don't even want to play it. Okay, and it's not just me, right? So I go over and this is on Battlefield and Xbox One. I go over and talk to people, and this is just people like my friend Mike Castro, Gandhi, just all these people, different people, and they're like, yo, the analogs suck. I'm in the elevator. I didn't even say anything. I hear two guys behind me. Yo, what do you think of the Xbox One controller? Yo, it's not all that good, dude. The analogs, there's just something about them. And I turned around at this point. I said, they're small. And then the guy's like, you know what? That's exactly it. He was like, they are fucking small. And I'm telling you guys, if you hold the Xbox One controller, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Because just something feels off. And that's what it is. It's the analogs feel messed up. And they just feel like little baby. They're made for little babies.
I'm sure they just had like defective controllers at PAX.
They don't.
Small.
Probably
like. I mean, the PAX delivery is probably just like 10% smaller than it's supposed to be.
No. What were they anticipating? They're anticipating small hands?
No, it's just a freak accident. I'm sure Microsoft wouldn't get that wrong.
all I know is I'm not happy with the Xbox One controller analog sticks. Everything else, I don't even care about the new stuff. Like the new D-pad is, hey, it's just a new D-pad. Like the analog sticks, like this is the issue that people don't like the PS. Well, in addition to the PS4 controllers, just being too close because they're idiots. It just felt bad. They've gone, and I will say PS4 controller is better than the PS3 controller because they've gone convex instead of concave. Or no, I'm sorry, they went concave instead of convex.
Right.
So now they're dipping in, and they've spaced them out more, but not to an area where I feel like it's comfortable. Like I don't like my thumbs going in towards each other, and that's why the offset feels better to me. So, Xbox One controller is not good, guys. Mm-mm. Oh, you know what other game I didn't add, Colin, that I played? Rise.
You played Rise? Okay.
That's the game I was missing.
Mash those.
So, I mean, everything else in the controller. Huh?
Mash those.
The
quick time events.
Yeah, It's not as bad as people think, but it's still pretty bad. Like you could quick time everyone if you wanted to.
They're not quick time events. They're coordinated combat sequences.
Yeah, you have to get these icons. Like you do enough damage, and they'll get an icon over their head, and then you hit circle, or B in this case, and it activates the quick time event, and it just automatically kills them. Well, no, it doesn't automatically. I take that back. Then you have to do a color sequence. So like
a quick time event.
You initiate. Yeah. You initiate, and then you do your quick time event, which would be like, and they don't do it by button. They do it by color. So it's like blue, yellow.
But it's not quick time events according to them.
It's not, but it is. So I'm trying to think about what I don't really have too much to add to Battlefield. I didn't hop into anything that would be significant.
No subs?
I didn't see a sub, but we did get that image from someone. Feel free to post it in the
I already lost
chat. But yeah, Battlefield feels like Battlefield. And I was talking to Go Glove, and he actually said the exact same thing I was telling you guys, is that he played Titanfall and then he played Battlefield, and he was like, I just need something new. And it's like he wasn't even trying to talk bad about the game. It was like, I'm just tired of this shit. Like, unless you get a game, and I think Destiny's going to do it very well. Yeah, unless you get Destiny, and then you got Titanfall, people are rehashing these same fucking games. And people, I honestly feel like people are going to get tired of it. Like, I didn't think that would happen with me for Battlefield, but as soon as I went from Titanfall to Battlefield, I was like, ugh. I'm just playing the same game. I'm tired of this.
I hope that's what people think. I really hope that's like, finally at next-gen consoles, it's like, shit, I've been playing the same game for an entire console generation, and now it's still the same on the next console generation, which I just spent $500 for. Why did I spend $500 to play the same thing again?
Yeah.
Like, I really hope that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, and then people are like, all right, let's find something new. And hopefully that new thing is focused around movement. Like, that's just all I want. Doesn't matter what game it is, but movement needs to be the calling card of this gen.
I sincerely hope that happens, because it was never more apparent to me than having those two literally side by side and getting to just compare and contrast. Just like, like I said, Titanfall basically feels like Call of Duty 2300, the year 2300, but because it's not Call of Duty, because I can do things in it that I can't do in Call of Duty, it doesn't. I can't be like, oh, I'm tired of this game. I've played this 1,000 times, because I haven't. But when I hop on Battlefield, it feels like, I don't know how many hours we've logged into Battlefield, but it felt like that was just another hour tacked on to the thousands that we've already played. So that's it on Battlefield, Xbox One controller, Titanfall. Rise, I guess I'll just go into that. Fun. I did the Gladiator mode. I played it actually with a dev, because I was playing before everyone else lined up. So a dev hopped on with me, and it looks gorgeous, absolutely magnificent. But I don't want to say it's not something I wouldn't enjoy because I like hack and slash games. Cameron and I used to play Dynasty Warriors all day. I mean, we played Dynasty Warriors 1 through like 5.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like hack and slash games. And I liked Gladiator mode, but maybe I just want to see more of the game because I only got to use like 2 weapons. Matter of fact, I javelined a couple of dudes and it felt pretty awesome. But most of the time, I just had a shield, or I'm sorry, a sword.
They weren't javelins, by the way.
What were they?
Pylums.
Okay, I had a javelin, guys. And I grabbed my javelin and I speared
Maybe they
people.
were, since they committed 3 other historical atrocities during their trailer. It wouldn't surprise me if you had a javelin.
Yeah. So that was probably. I mean, I didn't really have high expectations for it, so I wanted to see the visual fidelity of it. I wanted to see how good it looked, and it looked magnificent. The fact that they were showing off Gladiator mode was kind of cool. And I got to see if the QuickTime events were really as cheesy as they were made out to be in that trailer that we saw. And they're about as cheesy. Now, with that being said, there's like, I think at the build that he told me there was like 100 animations for deaths. And he said they're adding a ton more. I think I got the same death sequence twice. And it's because I chopped off a dude's leg and he was like crawling in the water. And then I activated my QuickTime, and he like stabbed him in the head, and I was like, oh.
But then you got it twice.
Yeah, but I got it twice because I chopped a guy's leg off, and he was in the same pose, crawling. So other than that, I can't really remember if there was another death animation that I saw twice. But that one stood out because it was just pretty gory. They're pretty nasty, dude. Like limbs chopping off and like. They live up to the Gladiator style. Death.
Don't even get me started. The Gladiator style. The fuck out of here.
Maximus.
It was just like I was a gladiator in the Roman army,
fighting
the barbarians at the cliffs of Dover. In a city siege. With ships.
Man.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Okay, PlayStation 4 controller feels better. Can I just leave it at that? I don't really want to talk about the controller that much. I'm not big on PlayStation controller, and I don't want to hear you guys me rant on everything wrong with the PlayStation controller. It feels better than it did. So they're making progress.
All that really matters is, do the R2 and L2 feel better? Not even gonna say anything? You're just gonna stop? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
I played Warframe on the PlayStation 4. It feels pretty good. There was a couple times where there was a lot going on and it got kind of sluggish. So I don't know what build of the game it was playing. One thing that was kind of interesting about that was like, I think the guy asked me, he was like, "Hey, do you want a code or something like that?" Or I can't remember what he said. And I was like, "No, I played on the PC." And so like he gave me free money. He was like, "All you had to do was say you played it on the PC." I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." So they were rewarding people if you happen to say that at Warframe. I played Drive Club. So here's my experience at Drive Club, right? Very funny. For me, anyway. So, again, the line for it was way shorter than I almost thought I cheated my way into line.
You're looking around like, did I cut somebody?
I'm looking around like, is this is a launch title, right? You guys, everybody else knows this is a launch title. So I'm like looking, and I'm about to step up, and this guy's like, "Oh no, the line's right here." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." And then there was one guy. There was literally one guy in front of me. He stepped in where I was.
There was one guy, and then there was the guy to sort out the line.
So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I stood in line and watched that guy get done, and he was like, "Don't worry, this goes really quick." And so literally I was waiting in line for like 1 minute because it was 2 laps, and someone got finished, and I walked right next to it. It was almost, I want to say it was the same guy that I watched finish or that took my spot. He got done, and I played in his spot. But when as you sit down, the demo restarts, and then they take a picture of you. So they have their camera hooked up to the PlayStation 4, which is in this case, and they take a picture of you. And I can't remember if it was like, hey, would you like a picture for this thing? And I just said, yeah, sure. So I'm sitting there smiling. I can't even remember what pose I did. So I took my picture. And then when you start the demo, you choose between 2 cars. You start the demo. And then as you're going, they showed these ghosts. That's camera freeze.
Yeah, your camera froze just as you made the face. That was too perfect. You look a little bit like Carrington, actually. You look a little bit like your brother in that pose.
All right, so the demo starts, and so you're in your car, and then they have like a ghost of all the other people that are riding there. So like you see their picture above their car, and it's just like a bunch of really crazy photos of people as you're passing cars. You're like, what? So you're driving, and then you do your 2 laps, and then that was it. I mean, the game looks good, but I think I was telling you guys before, the reason I'm not hyped on Forza or any of these driving games coming out is that I just played a whole lot of Gran Turismo, so that the simulation style driving is just played out to me. I either need Need for Speed or Mario Kart at this point, and then after I play that enough, then I'll probably go back to Sims. But I don't know if it was 30 FPS. I'm assuming it was 60. I don't think anyone would want to show 30 FPS at the show this year. So I don't know. I'll find out and do a separate video on it. But yeah, it looks good. I did like the picture taking ghost cars, seeing people's crazy ass faces. That'll probably be something that's online.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna do that for the public release. Seems like that could be a bad idea.
I would hope so.
You're just passing strangers and it shows their pictures.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if you could opt into it, right? Like, as long as there's like a very clear warning, like, you're signing up to see some dicks. Opt in? Yes.
I could see someone just like putting 2 eyeballs and then like a mouth on there. What is this? Is that someone's face? And they're like looking really close. It's like, no.
All of a sudden you just rear end them, and it's right there. It's right there, just taking up your entire screen. It's like, okay, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, so that was it's a pretty interesting. I did enjoy the camera thing. Let's see, I played Octodad. I don't really think any of our audience would enjoy that game. It was a cool little game, indie kind of. Yeah, cool little indie game. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say on that. It was cool. No stories for you. I just walked up, didn't have a line, walked up and played. Knack, I didn't get a chance to play. I wanted to play that. The line for Knack was really long.
Huh.
I was really surprised at how long it was. It was longer than the Killzone.
Was it one of those cases where it was like that was the main entrance and everyone just thought it was the line to the area?
Yeah, it was. Okay. It was totally that. So the way the booth was set up, they had this, it was like in the aisle, and so you saw people forming at the start of the PlayStation mega booth, or whatever you want to call it, and people were in line to play Knack. But what people didn't realize, I don't think, is like everything there was free play pretty much. So like you could just walk up and play, but people were sitting here waiting in this line, and then the other side of the booth was Killzone, and then there was another line wrapping around into the Killzone area. And so with Killzone, I know people wanted to hear my impressions of Killzone, but I played all of Killzones. I played Killzone 1, 2, and 3, and none of them really impressed me, to the point where I felt like everyone was like a generic shooter on the PlayStation. And PlayStation really didn't have any shooters except for Call of Duty, which was on everything. You want to say Resistance, Killzone. What else is there? It's just those two games, and they're both kind of Mag, which
that's probably the game which I had the most fun with on the PlayStation. Actually,
yeah, I want to say we kind of enjoyed the game. So Killzone. So here's my story with Killzone. When I was determining when I was going to play, and this was all time stuff. I know people wanted me to play. I had people requesting me to play, and the line for it was just it's a lot of PlayStation, obviously PlayStation and Microsoft fanboys, and then in addition to people that just want to play new next gen stuff. And the line for that was long enough for me not to want to wait, and just at the point where I would look at the game long enough to determine if I was going to sit in the line. So that's kind of where my interest was with Killzone. So I watched 15 minutes of like 4 different people playing, and the game looks good. I didn't really see anything that kind of threw me. It's like, oh, this looks so much different, or this looks so amazing. There was some stuff. It's mostly because of the people I was watching. There's some stuff I was like, I don't know if I would really like that. One of the things was the shield, the energy barrier shield that popped up, and that was like the icing on the cake for me after sitting and watching through the game. But I'll give you an example of why I can't really have too much to say about Killzone until I actually either see someone good really play or just play it myself. Is because here's an example of the type of person I was watching. There is a room full of 5 enemy players. Okay. 2 guys went on the left, 2 guys went on the right, and then 1 guy was sitting in the middle. He kills the guy in the middle. The 2 other guys on his left die. He clearly sees the other 2 people on the right. He walks straight and then turns his back to the left. So he goes straight towards the 2 guys that got killed on the left, turns his back, and gets killed by the people on the right. Like he just didn't even see him. And I was like, just sitting there like,
got that tunnel
really,
vision.
dude?
Got that tunnel vision on that first
really?
guy.
No. But no, he when you look at the people there and then look at other people, he saw the dudes on the right. He killed the dude in the middle. The 2 guys on the left died, and he just left the people behind him, and he continued walking on the like he didn't sprint, he didn't dive, he didn't throw a grenade. He just walked straight, turned left, got shot in his back, and I was like, all right, I'm done. And that was the last I watched, because I watched 15 minutes, 4 different people, and I was like, I'm not waiting in this line. I don't want to play this game. Bye. And that's my Killzone story for you guys. So I got to see some very generic shooting stuff. I got to see an energy shield pop up. I got to see a real terrible dude die in a situation where he should not have died, and then I was done.
Did you shout out?
The game might be
were you standing behind him? Did you shout,
no.
Oh, come on! They just storm off.
It's just one of those things where I just mumbled under my breath, like, are you fucking serious? And then just walked away. And I had a guy, which is funny, I had this real tall black dude. He reminded me of Trey from Plant Side.
Yeah.
But it was a real tall black dude just sitting there in the Sony booth, and he's watching the same dude I'm watching. And so we kind of just look at each other after this guy does this, and he knew on my face, he was like, oh, he's going to walk away. Sure enough, I was like, I'm gone. Just terrible. I was just So yeah, Killzone could be totally fantastic, but not who I watched. So it really, I just did no justice for that game. And I don't want to talk about it and say that it's bad or anything, because I just didn't play it. Let me see. Is that about it on PlayStation?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, go back over on the Xbox One side. I played Killer Instinct, and I do have a story for this one. Colin, my fighting game skills. Why you try to play me? He was like, "Oh, you beat someone at a convention." Oh, so. We're in line for Killer Instinct. The lines, obviously, if you guys, I didn't see any Infamous. I saw no Infamous dirt, no Infamous. And there was no Infamous being displayed in that booth, by the way. You know what? One other game that was in PlayStation's booth that I didn't play. I watched Goku play it. Was Killzone Mercenary, whatever,
The Vita
on the
game?
little hand on the Vita.
It's already
And
out, isn't it?
yeah, I think it is, and that's the only other thing I saw. And it was just right in front of Killzone, so I was kind of just like standing around talking to Google Glove, and I saw people playing there. So yeah, that's it on Sony. Anyway, so Killer Instinct. So the lines for these typically go really fast. The booth was packed, by the way. It was pretty packed. Fighter Within, I didn't see that, but I went on the side. They had two stations that were controller and two stations that were arcade stick. And so I went on the station that was the arcade stick. I was like, I'm not going to use a controller. I've been practicing long enough. So the two guys in front of me, amazing. They were both really good, like doing insane combos and all types of crazy stuff, combo breakers. I was like, oh man, I'm going to get my ass whooped. Another line goes in front of us, and the guys that were playing were like, okay. And so the guy next to me that is clearly lined up to play with me, he looks at me and he says, have you played it all? And I was like, no, I haven't. And he snickers. He was like, like I'm gonna whoop this dude's ass. And so I got pissed. Like in my head, I was okay, you fucking dude. So we walk up. We're playing. He chooses Sabretooth. I chose the Thunder because I hadn't really seen him. I didn't see any video on him. And Thunder's like kind of like an Indian looking dude. He looks like T-Hawk from Street Fighter. And it was a pretty close match for the first round. So the way it kind of goes, the health is kind of like Justice. It doesn't reset rounds. It just meters through the first meter and ends, and it starts a new round. Like you'll get round 2 as your meter depletes, but it's like really quick. And then you just continue on with your health is whatever meter they're on, first or second. And he gets me down. I think I got him like 3/4 of the way, and like he had this massive, insane combo, took me all the way down, and then we were almost neck and neck again. And then for whatever reason, I just blew him out at the end. He's like, "Good game," and like shakes my hand or whatever. I'm like, "Good game, dude." And that was the end of the story. Is like in terms of me winning. I beat his ass pretty much, and he wasn't too didn't look like he was too happy about it. Had a salt face a little bit. But the game feels really good. It feels like a more arcade version of Street Fighter. And I didn't really know what to expect with the game. It feels like you can kind of get away with doing more, like button mashing, versus some of the things like Street Fighter. I'm still kind of really new to the whole fighting game scene, but just feels a little bit more technical when you're trying to do stuff. And that felt very like you get away with button mashing, and you would still get like really insane combos sometimes. So like I had no idea what I was doing, but I was doing stuff that I would normally do in Street Fighter, same type of button combinations, and I was pulling off some pretty nasty combos. It was fun. I was just glad I'm 1-0 on Killer Instinct.
Yeah, it sounds like you found your game after having to retire from dive kick.
Dive kick? I'm coming back to dive kick. I have my whole dive kick central playlist made on the Amazing MLG channel.
You retired in shame already.
No. All right, so that's Killer Instinct. That's my story. It was fun. Big, this shots fired. Forza, we played on a wheel thing. I waited in line for that because that was a game I was going to be like, okay, I'm going to play this racing. I forced myself to wait, and it wasn't that bad. But the fact that there was only one station and they put it in one of those fucking wheels was kind of maybe a little irritating for the show floor. But presentation is probably what they were going for. But again, it kind of felt like Drive Club to me. In the sense that
since there was a car and you're driving it around on a course.
Yeah, it was more of like a car driving. It looks really pretty, and I ran into a couple walls, and that's about it. Finished in a decent time. It was fun though. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got on Forza.
Did you play
Uh,
the club or whatever? Fuck, what was it called? The crew? Sorry, the crew.
didn't see
I
that.
bet that was totally different.
I saw Dead Rising 3 though.
Okay, you didn't play.
I didn't mention that either, but yeah, Dead Rising 3 was they were doing demos for it, and there was like crazy weapon creation. Like the dude made an atomic bomb and set off in a bomb and blew up zombies, and then combined a motorcycle and a steamroll thingy and made a warthog steamroll motorcycle
Yeah, I
thing.
think they showed that.
I mean, it was just like crazy stuff. And then he made a lightsaber, but they couldn't call it a lightsaber, so he called it the light sword or something like that.
Yeah,
Sword of
you
light.
can cut down zombies with a lightsaber?
Yeah, but
I think I'm
but
sold.
he explicitly said he was like, everyone, this is a light sword, the sword of light. Not the other thing that I know you guys would think. This is the light sword, and notice he's using the light sword, and then
Did it make the same noises? Was it like?
yeah, it made the same. Totally went.
And you can make it come back to you with magical magnetic properties.
I wish.
The light sword.
I wish. The light sword. So yeah, the game looks awesome though. It really does. I couldn't get over how many zombies were on screen at one time, blown away. And I couldn't get over the nuke too.
What?
When he
you
set
use a
off the
lightsaber
nuke,
in
it
Dead
blew up
Rising
the
2 as
sword.
well? Sorry, a light sword in Dead Rising 2?
You can use what?
Can you dual wield though? If you can't dual wield, then I'm out.
Ninja. It is a light sword. We have to be politically correct here. It is a light sword.
Gotta be able to dual wield though. And can I
I
change
don't
the
know
color?
if there was dual wielding. I didn't see.
I need to be able to change one to red.
It was blue. It was blue in the one he used.
I need 2 red lightsabers.
Yeah.
Or
Wow.
sorry, light swords.
Light swords.
We're gonna have a cease and desist on our doorsteps already.
Yeah, know the crew. I'm trying to think. No, there's no. The division was not there, guys. No Destiny. I played Strife. I don't really know what. It felt like a MOBA.
Yeah.
I haven't played enough of the MOBAs to be like, it's more like this one. It's more like that one.
I watched a video on it actually, from Total Biscuit actually. I guess the big catch for that is that they're trying to do away with the kind of support and I guess in general they're trying to do away with the roles so that people don't get frustrated. They're kind of openly admitting that they're casualizing the genre and trying to make a more accessible MOBA, and that's their kind of approach to it. So they're actually making it so you split EXP and gold across the... Sorry, you split gold across the map with all your teammates. And then if there's 2 of you in a lane, you'll split it evenly for last hitting. So
Interesting.
yeah.
The other MOBA there that who was talking to me about it? I can't remember who it was. I talked to so many people. I talked to C-Nanners, talked to Go Glove, talked to Hastro, talked to Puckett, I talked to Shibby, Proofy, Rackzilla stopped by. I actually talked to him
Were they showing
about.
anything?
No, I didn't. They just stopped by. I asked him about the Fortnite stuff that with Bonkers there, and he really didn't have any information for me.
Right.
That's about it in terms of who I talked to. But let me see, what game was I going to go to next? Thief. There was really nothing new that I think anyone got anything from. The demo that I watched, I believe I watched a portion of it at either QuakeCon or somewhere else. Can't remember where I saw that at, but the demo that I watched wasn't anything different. They showed that there. I I played a game called Extraction, which was made by Splash Damage, published by Nexon. It's a team-based objective multiplayer game. Felt like a little bit like Combat Arms and Counter-Strike, and I'll even throw Team Fortress in there a little bit. But I do have a story about that game. There was Watch Dogs, but it was a Watch Dogs demo. In terms of like they just showed you video. You didn't get to play it.
Yeah.
The line for that was really long. Same stuff. But with Extraction, Nexon had a really cool booth. They put 5 people on. The only thing I didn't like is that people were hooked up to the nasty Turtle Beach headsets with their ugly mix amp thing. But they had 5 players on one table, 5 players on another table, and they had 3 stations like that, I think. And so your table was pit against another table, and they were doing like tournaments or something at some point in time. I don't know what day, but I went to town wrecking people on that. And so the guy that was the staff there that was watching us the first round that we played, which we were on offense. No, we were on defense, and he just stopped what he was doing and was just staring at my at my screen the entire time.
Must be refreshing.
And when the round finished, he was like, "Well, looks like we got our MVP. I think you guys should probably win this the next round." And we didn't end up winning. It ended up being a stalemate, 0-0. So we couldn't plant. Got pretty much to the same spot as them. But that game was fun. I got a T-shirt from it too. I would suggest that people kind of check that game out. I think some people will like it. Toy Rush. It's an indie game published and created by Uber Entertainment. I believe they have a 3-man team on this. I talked to I want to say he's an executive producer there and art director. I can't remember how you pronounce his name. Shandana? Something like that. Shandana. That might sound right. Really cool dude. Explained it to me. But it's like a card-based turret defense game with gameplay. So they have like these little cute, cuddly characters that I think they're trying to build out as their main. They're like your mega characters, and then they have these smaller cards that are more disposable as your like grunts. And the mega characters have like special moves. They take out the turrets a lot faster, and they look a lot different. And they're bigger on the screen. I should also mention this is an iOS game as of right now. So
really?
I imagine it's going to be.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is really cool. So they had 2 iPads sitting right by each other, and it felt really good. I was really impressed. In addition to Planetary Annihilation. What was that?
Were they doing multiplayer with that?
He told me that they will be doing multiplayer, and he showed like basically you like set up your base, but you have to be connected, and they didn't have it connected at that point in time, or it wasn't ready for the build they were using, but it will be multiplayer.
It seemed like it'd be really cool for multiplayer, but they haven't really shown anything for it. Like, it seems like it's almost built towards multiplayer with the way it's set up.
Yeah. And the other game that they had was a Planetary Annihilation there, and he actually gave me some codes for the game. So Colin and I will be playing some of that. Sorry, Sean. I asked Colin first.
Took dibs.
So yeah, I actually started the download for that as I left. So my computer is going. It has that downloaded. Let me see. I'm going through this list again. Oculus Rift is actually the last one I have, and I actually did play that, and I enjoyed it. It was fun, but after I got done, I had a headache for like 45 minutes.
You're not ready for the next dimension.
I totally wasn't ready. They had the new build of Hawken, And Hawkins plays well there. I don't know if someone asked, I think it was Zach, who said something like people still play that game. But Hawkins was, I mean, I don't know quite where they went wrong. That game is not bad. I mean, their matchmaking is kind of jacked up. Can't play with friends. They went open maybe a little too soon. Okay, there's a number of things that they probably did wrong, but the game isn't bad. Gameplay isn't bad, and so I don't know. Playing it in the cockpit feels really good. But yeah, I got a headache after 45 minutes on it, or 15 minutes, but I had it for about 40 minutes to an hour. Okay, there were people at the studio because we actually have an Oculus Rift at Edge that tried it, and they all felt like they were going to vomit, and they had the headache. I didn't feel like I was going to vomit. I just had a headache. And yeah, like Colin said, maybe my brain isn't ready for that yet. Maybe my daughters will. Maybe Kylan will be ready.
To be hooked up.
Hooked up
to the Matrix.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Those are all my ramblings. Yeah. So there's not too much else. I think what we're really cool thing. We had a guy stop by from Oculus team and was asking us what we were interested in. I said, I know we have one, but how would a third-person shooter work on the Oculus? And he was like, you'd be surprised. I was just like, I bet, because it won't work. Is what I'm thinking. But yeah, so you'd be surprised. So I'm gonna read some of the chat now. See if you guys have any questions that I might have missed that I saw. That's the hour-long rant of PAX and Titanfall and Xbox One controller that has bad analog sticks.
You didn't see any of the stuff with the Halo 4 Global Champs, right?
No, I talked to Bravo in the elevator before they actually started the thing. I think what Colin was surprised by and why their theater was so packed. I'm not taking anything. I'm not trying anyway to take anything away from that because the event was according to everyone on Twitter and just from people I talked to was amazing. But it was so packed because they gave away Xbox Ones in there. They were raffling them off, I believe. So the audience might have been a little artificially inflated. Why do you prefer to provide Colin with awesome beta codes instead of Sean? Is that a question? Is that a? I will not answer that question.
I'm not sure it's
he just happened topic. To be. Yeah, he just happened to be who I gave one to first.
Can I time him out?
Colin's before Sean in my phone. I like the idea of active reload about Titan, and if it ends up being good. Babies, kitty. Good question. Huge move. Blah, 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 blah. Anything else, guys? Anything else? Any questions? Overall outlook on launch of next gen. Excited? Meh. Scurvy. I'm actually pretty excited. Because like I was saying earlier, this is going to usher in a bit of innovation, where I think a lot of games are being stagnant and kind of running off of the same old. It's the maddenizing of games, and this is an opportunity for a new game to come along and be the next Madden game for however long, or be that Destiny or Titanfall. According to Evan, Quinn told Walda and PAX that 343 was thinking about purchasing the Gears franchise from Epic. It's only hearsay, but do you guys have any thoughts on whether or not that would be a good thing? A Gears question. That was a nice way to mix that in there.
It's all hearsay.
I don't know, Colin, what do you think? I have no thoughts on that.
I don't comment on hearsay. Except when I'm the one saying it.
We're almost done. You guys equal?
Right there.
Colin and the viewers.
Hi, Colin.
What was your game of this generation?
Yeah, I did some live editing last week to be able to show off in real time. So what was your game of the generation?
Colin, do you have one?
Last week I said it was Gotham.
Oh, God. Yeah. Why?
I talked about it on the show last week. You should fully catch up.
Does everyone remember? I don't remember you saying that. I remember you saying Gotham, but I don't remember the reason. I don't know why I don't remember the reason.
No, it was the movement and the fact that they did classes in a way which was actually interesting and compelling. And loadouts. I guess loadouts, not classes.
I think the game I had the most fun on was Battlefield Modern Combat.
That was technically a previous generation game.
But it came out on Xbox 360.
It was ported over to the 360.
Yeah, well, I played it and on the 360. I didn't play it on the Xbox.
See, I didn't count it because it wasn't technically part of this generation.
It was released on the. How are you not going to count it if it was released on the 360?
It wasn't a 360 game. It was an Xbox and PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, that's the game I probably enjoyed
Battlefield
the
2
most.
Modern Combat was a ton of fun. I had
Probably
a
enjoyed those
shit ton
games.
of fun playing that game.
Do you have any definite pick up with the next gen console you would get? Or are you still not 100% sure? Junglist, Xbox One, already pre-ordered, Amazon, day one.
I'm buying both.
I will get both, but I'm not going to buy both
By
at
the
the
way,
same time.
I called the release date exactly back in our prediction show pre-E3.
What date did I say? I said 2 weeks before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think you said 2 weeks before.
So I hit Sony's.
You hit Sony's when talking about the Xbox. Well done.
Yeah,
Well done.
I hit Sony's. Will you guys get GTA 5? I'll probably get it. Colin has been kind of...
Probably not. I don't know. I'm not really that hype on it.
Thoughts on Japan getting PS4 late? I didn't even know that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
No
they're
thoughts
getting
on
it
it.
like February, I think.
That's weird. Uh,
Looks like we're good.
all right.
All the
Well,
questions have been answered.
that was a pretty long PAX rant, game breakdown.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't have to do any work this week
Yeah.
compared to
Just-
last week. It's always nice.
Yeah. So that's all I got, guys.
Cool.
I have some individual videos when I get back.
Yeah, thanks for joining me from your vacation.
Yeah.
Bailing me out this week.
All right.
Next week, probably have probably just be news and shit. There's not really a ton going on that I can think of, so we'll see what's going on.
Maybe we'll get some viewers on the show.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Let's get some viewers on the show since no one showed up last time.
And yet they'll still be the ones say like, "Oh, you never bring viewers on," even though last week I gave a full opportunity to talk about anything. I left it completely open. I said, "Hey, talk about whatever," and no one came on. So maybe next week someone will rise to the occasion and entertain us.
Yeah.
All right.
Can Sean join?
Yeah.
No, we should play Planetary Annihilation and not let Sean join.
That's what we'll do next week. We'll play that. Well, actually, there's probably an NDA. We'll play the game live on air.
But
All right.
all right.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you next week.
Later.